and robbed by somebody I thought I was in love with. He set me up to get me shot by his friend, and his friend shot me and my son. Thank God nothing really happened to my son, but when I got shot, I instantly got paralyzed from the neck down, and I can't move nothing, but I be trying to move something, even though the doctor said I'd never walk again.
Welcome back to Kingston Reviews. Derek here. Thank you guys for tuning into another video. I really appreciate it. So I've got this video for you guys. This young lady's name is Chrissy, and she's going to tell you a story about how she was set up by her boyfriend and is shot and paralyzed after that. And this story really kind of touched me because I was actually in the long-term care business for several years, and I never thought I would be in long-term care. I really am much more of a numbers type person, but I got into healthcare, and I'm going to tell you how that went, and I'm going to tell you why it's so important to pay attention to this video. It is super important. So in my previous life, as I said in some of my other videos, I was actually the regional vice president for a large facility service company. I covered a territory of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida. And our company provided the housekeeping, the laundry, and the services at these long-term care facilities. And we also did some acute care in hospitals as well. But this was my first exposure to long-term care facilities, and I've got some good stuff to tell you guys about it. If you guys are not familiar with long-term care, you might want to get familiar with it. So let's stay tuned. Let's listen to what she has to say. This also touches on the poor decisions that a lot of women make in choosing people they decide to be with. And the results can be stuff like this. And I thought that was also interesting. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that a little bit. Just a lot of stuff about this really interested me. So I wanted to share the video with you guys. If you guys like content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. But let's go ahead and have her talk a little bit more, and then I'll tell you guys about my experience and why you need to pay attention, because if you end up in long-term care, you're gonna regret it.
I don't believe nothing they say, but right now, out of 2 years, I've been so contracted. When I first got shot, I was never contracted. My arms were straight. My legs were straight. Now, it's 2024, and I'm so contracted. I can't move my body. I can't unstraighten my legs. My legs bend up. They crisscross. My hands would not straighten out anymore. My left wrist won't straighten out. It's starting to curl up. My hand's starting to curl up. On the right side, I can't bring it down, and I'm just so irritated because every nursing home I've been to made me contracted, and no therapy wanted to help me because they say I don't get nothing done, no process, but they use my insurance up and then kick me out.
Okay, so what this young lady is saying here, that they use up her insurance and they use her. Unfortunately, this is something that I witnessed myself. One of the things that they do at all the long-term care facilities is the first thing they do every morning is they have what is called as a stand-up. And that's where they basically go through every single patient and they review their medical chart, their insurance coverage. And one of the first things they do when you have a new resident is they look at their assets. And the first thing that that long-term care facility is going to try to do is see if they can get power of attorney for that individual. The reason why they do this is so that they can see what kind of assets they have, and they're going to try to go through those assets as quickly as possible with all the services that that patient's going to need to get them on Medicaid or Medicare, and then they're going to keep them at that facility as long as possible. That is essentially the strategy of long-term care. Now, for a young lady like this that doesn't have a lot of money, what's going to happen is they're going to place her at a facility that's close to her home, maybe, that is typically not in the greatest of neighborhoods, right? And before I got in the industry, I thought that everybody that was in healthcare really wanted to be in healthcare, that they had this passion and love for people and they wanted to take care of them. And what I mean by take care of them is you got to understand, okay, we're talking, you're thinking about a doctor or a nurse, you're thinking about a PCA. I don't know if you're imagining that they're just, giving injections and just, reading charts. But the reality of these positions is that they're wiping people's butts, they're feeding them, they're bathing them, they're rolling them over in bed. And most of the people that they take care of have mobility issues. So they're picking them up, they're carrying them. It's actually a very difficult position. I want to be really clear about this. I'm not talking negatively about nurses and CNAs because there are a lot of them that are really, really good. However, I do think that the industry is flooded with people that took the job because they want to make money, not because they want to take care of people. And I'm not saying that there's no point to not wanting to making money, right? That they shouldn't take the job because they want to make money. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of people that just took it just to make money and say they have no passion or no compassion for people in really terrible situations. Another point that I wanted to say is that a lot of these facilities, it's not what you think. You think that at the facility, I thought there would be a bunch of 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds at the facility. The reality, especially in the urban areas, there were a lot of people just like this young lady in their 20s and their 30s that were shot, involved in a car accident, something like that. And because of their mobility issue from being paralyzed or losing a leg or whatever it is, they're unable to take care of themselves and they end up in these facilities. And once you're in the facility, you're going to be there forever. That's their plan, is to basically keep you in the facility. You heard her talking about that she wasn't able to get some of the care she needs. Listen to what she says here about her bed sores. I'm going to let a little bit more play for you here.
Now, I still don't get no therapy, and it's 2024, and I just need help and support from all around the world. Like, I just want to be uncontracted so I can walk again and be with my son again. It's hard being a mom, knowing you paralyzed from neck down and you can't do nothing for your child, or your child keep asking you, Mommy, why you can't move or can't do nothing, And it'd be like real difficult for me to teach my son at a young age. But at the same time, he understands what's going on and he still helps me. But I just hate that I'm so contracted. I believe in God. I know he gonna do his big one for me and get me uncontracted, but it's gonna take some time. I just wanna live my life again. I'm only 23 years old. I'll be 24 December 10th. I'm still living. I just have a lot of medical issues. I stayed in the hospitals because I had bad bits and a lot of sores on my feet, to the point where my feet is dead, that I'm going to have to get it cut off just because the nursing homes haven't really been taking care of me.
Okay, so my heart really goes out to this young lady. It's really terrible to see what's happening to her. But let me explain a little bit about what she's talking about. So when she's saying that she's getting contracted, if you ever get paralyzed or if you're injured, the first thing they want you to do is get physical therapy. If you don't move your muscles, even manually move them, they will eventually start contracting automatically. And I think what she's saying there is that for whatever the reason, she missed her physical therapy and her muscles started to contract, and so her arms and legs are contracting and they're basically like getting crossed because they're coming together, right? And that's what happens if you don't get your physical therapy. The other thing that she talked about was bed sores. So this is a dead giveaway. If you got a resident that's immobile and they're not being picked up and moved around because of the lack of care at the facilities, they're going to get bed sores. And basically what a bed sore is just imagine if you're laying in bed, you weigh whatever you weigh, 150 pounds, that weight is dispersed throughout your body. Any part that contacts the bed over time will rip and tear if you're not moving, right? Like you move around when you're in bed sleeping every night, but if you stayed still for a day or two at a time, the spots that are touching that bed will begin to rip and tear, and that's what a bed sore is. I'm kind of simplifying it, but I can tell you guys some stories of things that I saw. So just imagine this, okay? Imagine in some of the poor neighborhoods where you've got the Ray Rays and the Pookies and the young ladies like herself that maybe didn't come from the greatest area, came from the projects, the homeless people, the bums, the drug addicts. They all end up in some of these long-term care places, especially if they don't have a whole lot of money. They don't end up at the nicest ones. And the people that work at those facilities, God bless them, but the majority of them are there just for the money.
Jerry, show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
Now, I want to be clear, there are a lot of good ones, okay? Just like in the public school system, there are a lot of great teachers that are there just to teach those young minds because they love kids and they love to share. But the reality is in long-term care, in some of these poor neighborhoods, you've got someone that just the week before was working at McDonald's and now they're a CNA and they're on the phone with their boyfriend, second and third shift. God help you at these facilities is all I gotta say, okay? Second and third shift, God help you, okay? I got stories I could tell you guys. If you guys like stuff like this, I will tell you some detailed stories, but you gotta like, you got to comment, you gotta subscribe to the channel for more. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit more about what she's saying, and then I'm gonna wrap it up at the end of the video.
And it's a lot on my plate. And I'm so young, but I keep going. I don't give up. I just need help and support. And now, ever since I've been out the nursing home, it feels so good to be home, family. But nobody will help me because I stay in the projects and don't nobody want to come down there. So I need to look for housing, and it's so hard looking for housing. When you disability and can't do nothing for yourself, you gotta depend on everybody else to do something. And I usually don't do this, but I'm at the point where my family need help supporting me and help me get in therapy and get me back on my feet. Because that's all I want. I want to be able to walk with my son and show my son that I can do this. I just need support. I just need people to push me, even though I be pushing myself. I keep going. I never give up. I just need everybody to help me get my video out there so somebody could realize, like, I really need help. And I really do. Because I want to be home. I don't want to go back to the nursing home. Because if I do, I feel like they gonna kill me even more, but slowly. And I just want to make my baby proud and be the mother that I am. You know, I don't understand what I have to go through, but God got me regardless. Don't nobody understand how it feels to be paralyzed and let down with a child and still try to be independent, you know. So I just need help and support from everybody. I don't care what it is. Just help me get back on my feet. That's all I want. I want to be uncontracted. I want to go to therapy so I can fight and get myself back. So if y'all can help get this video out, I would really appreciate that. Because I'm at my lowest and I just want to get better.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up the video. So I wanted to touch base with you on what I said earlier. Sometimes women and men make really bad decisions about the people that they want to be with. It's something that happens to all of us. I know I've made the same bad decision on the person that I was dating and ended up being on the opposite side of the door where someone's banging on the door with a gun because I chose the wrong person and they're in a volatile situation with an ex, and I had to be in that situation because I knew that this person was exciting, but I made a bad decision on deciding to be with that person. So you do have personal responsibility for stuff like that. The person that you're choosing to be with, you know that. Even if you're from a bad neighborhood, you do know that. The second thing is, when it comes to long-term care facilities, it is not what you think. Do your research. Long-term facilities can be great. There are a lot of great people working in them, a lot of CNAs, PCAs, a lot of dietary people that really do a fantastic job because they want to be there. However, it also draws a lot of people that are there just to make money, right? And if you're there just to make money, at the end of the day, the job is not super glamorous, right? What are they doing? They're wiping your butts. They're feeding you. They're turning you over. They're bathing you. And a lot of times, if they're not doing these things, your quality of life is going to be super duper poor, right? It's going to be horrible. So if you guys like content like this, if you guys want me to share stories with you, actually, I'm going to share one with you real quick. I had a facility that I went to, and when I visited it as the operations manager at the time, and I wanted to give the facility manager a really good tour of the facility and tell him we are going to handle everything he needs. So he takes me to this one guy's room. He says, "Can you help me clean this room?" And I'm like, "Sure, we'll get our guys on it." And I get to the room, and he's kind of smirking, so I know something's up. He opens the room door, and I'm almost knocked back on my butt, because when I open the room door, the guy that's in the room has been peeing in the room and peeing in the vents, peeing in the heating elements, and peeing on the wall, peeing on the bed for the last month. And the smell of urine was so bad, it literally physically pushed me back out of the room. And he turned to me and kind of laughed, because the problem was with this guy, he would do that everywhere he went. He'd pee in the hallway, he'd pee on residents. And I said, "Why can't you get rid of him?" Well, the state sent him there, and he had to sue the state to get this guy out of a long-term care facility. So like I said, it's worse than what you're thinking. If you guys like content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll tell you guys some more stories. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.